Hey there, friends. We are going to embark upon a really exciting journey. I am planning to make this into a 4-part series, and I've designed it to clear up some confusion about where we manage specific settings for specific apps. So I'm calling this Advanced Settings of Dynamics 365, and this is CRM CE focused. We're going to start out by talking about where you can manage environment level settings. Our next video is going to talk about sales, then customer service, and then the marketing areas. So, all of the information that I am sharing today is valid as of June 2025. These things are changing at such a fast pace, you never quite know what you're going to find. But again, why are we talking about this? Basically so that you can learn where to manage your apps. Learn which apps to use to configure which settings, because it is a little confusing. So as I said, part 1 is going to focus on Power Platform environment settings. And for this, there are 2 areas we will look at. First of all, the newer Power Platform environment settings app. It looks like this. It actually has a lot of the legacy settings that used to be in the advanced settings area, but not all. So let's talk about what you can do here and where else you can go. So the first area I wanted to point out is data management. Obviously, this is a really important area if you are in charge of a CRM CE system or even a model-driven app, Power Apps. So this is where you can do things like set up your duplicate detection rules, manage your imports, both see the status of current imports and maybe export your failure rows, make some changes there. You can access and create templates for your data import here. Lots of things that you can do in the data realm, but those are some specific ones that I wanted to make sure that we point out here. And the second big area I want to show you is security. So your security can now all be accessed within this model-driven app. This is where you can see a list of users, you can update their security roles, you can edit their manager and their business unit, all that great stuff. This is where you can access, manage, and create all of your teams. You can create and edit security roles, but you should really do those in a solution file, of course. Same with column security profiles. If you need to create and manage those, you can access them as well. Then we have the Dynamics 365 app for Outlook. If you have ever seen me speak, you might know that I still have a soft spot in my heart for the Dynamics 365 app for Outlook. I feel like there is absolutely still several use cases where this is relevant for a lot of organizations. So if you're one of them, you will access the Dynamics app for Outlook settings area inside of this model-driven app as well. Now, before I move off of it, I do want to show you where you will access that and how you can get there. So I am just bringing over the Sales Hub. This is just a trial environment that I've spun up just to give you an idea of what these things look like. So when I am starting from one of the first-party apps, sales, customer service, or marketing, customer insights, I will just click the name of the app at the top, and then you see a lot of apps that come out of the box. We'll talk more about this when we zero in on each of these, but the one I'm specifically talking about is this one that showed up within the last month or two, Power Platform Environment Settings, and all you have to do is click on that, and if you have the right security rules applied, you'll be able to access all this great information. Now, if you are used to the legacy settings, they're very similar. They're just formatted basically under the same headings under the left-hand side instead of kind of that flag out at the top kind of navigation that we had. So there's your business management, so your business settings if you need to set up fiscal years, goals, queues, all that good stuff. We've got templates. We've got some information here about service, mobile offline profiles. You could just keep seeing all this stuff. If you click on solutions, I kind of like that that's like a quick link over to make.powerapps.com. Takes you to your solutions area and makes sure that you're building your solutions the right way. So that reinforces good ALM practices using solutions. We've got a link to App Source, your plugin trace logs, and solutions histories. Down in the system areas where it gets really exciting, administration. So that's you're turning auditing on for specific tables and updating the settings there. Different formattings, if you need to change the currency format or the number and date formats, you do that there. Add or remove additional languages if you have multi-language staff that you're working with. You can see the security area is in preview. I'm not quite sure why it's the only one that's in preview, but it's really helpful. Your data management settings, we talked about that. This is where you access your system jobs. You can see everything that's firing in your organization. When you need to go down the rabbit hole and kind of dive in to find the needle in the haystack of what's going wrong. Here's document management. So when you're adding your SharePoint settings, you can also map SharePoint libraries to the Dynamics records and manage all of that. More on auditing here. Your email configuration, really important if you are sending emails out of your CRM system. Activity feeds, Dynamics app for Outlook, and sales insights. So I know that was like a lot, but I think it's really important for everyone to understand what is in there and what you can do. Because you can't do everything in that app. You also need to know how to use and access the Power Platform Admin Center. There is a new version of the Power Platform Admin Center that rolled out a few weeks ago. It's similar but different to what we have seen. So let me bring this up and we'll just point out a few things. We've got our monitor area, which is really handy because you can see what's going on in Power Apps and Power Automate and kind of see if anything kind of needs to be updated and checked out. Manage is where you are going to come in here and kind of set up your environment settings. So you can highlight one of your environments and you can go to settings. And then this is where you can do a lot more things. So in the product area, for example, in features, there's a lot of things that you can turn on and off, like Copilot Studio features, some Copilot features, Dataverse search, if you have a problem with your search and it's not working the way you expect. There's just a ton of stuff in the settings area here. There is duplication here. You can do things in both of these, specifically your business, your users and permissions, your email, and your resources and data management. So there's a lot of things that are available in both places, but you do still need to use both things. There's a lot of other things here. So security, if you need to have some specific security stuff in an environment, you could do that here. Copilot, this is new-ish. So this is giving you one spot to see everything that's happening in the Copilot world throughout your apps and throughout everything in the Power Platform in your environment. So you can check out all the stuff here. I think it's gonna change a lot since this is new, but you can click Learn More to kind of check out more stuff. And then we've got your deployment pipelines. So you can manage those there. Your licensing details. It's going to tell you what's going on, how many licenses you have. This is where you can manage that if you have the right access. And then support. If you need to submit a ticket or do anything, check out known issues that are going on in your environments. Check out Service Health, all that great stuff. So as you can see, there's a lot that you can and maybe are responsible for in your Dynamics 365 customer engagement apps, and there's a couple places that you're going to need to manage that. I am curious to see if the new model-driven app will eventually have the same options as the Power Platform Admin Center. I don't know. I guess we'll stay tuned and wait and see. But next up in our series, we're going to dive into Dynamics for Sales and talk about everything that we can configure and everything we can manage for your Dynamics for Sales environments there. So stay tuned for part 2 of this 4-part series.